Get your towels ready, it's about to go down. Everybody in the place hit
the first time I met my wife, I thought she was the weirdest girl I'd ever met. I'm not so normal either, but there was something different about Janet. We said about 2 words to each other, and I walked away feeling like I had just met Wednesday Addams. Over the next year, we slowly got to know each other. We had a couple of classes together, and we started to hit it off. I was hanging out at her house almost exclusively. We would chill with her roommates until they went to bed and then stay up talking. We would talk about anything and everything. I just wanted to spend time with her. After a while, there's only so much late night talking 2 college kids can do before they start having sex. It all happened so quickly, but I knew I loved her. I finally found someone who understood my quirks and I understood hers. I accepted that she hates peanut butter, and she's accepted that I snore like a freight train. The first time I said it out loud, I kind of surprised myself. But I started telling my closest friends how much I loved her and that she was the one. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with Janet, and I found my soulmate, and I didn't want to let her go. The idea of proposing seemed like a good one, but I hesitated. We were young college students. Could it really be more? Over time, it became clear. I loved Janet more than I'd ever loved anyone, and I didn't want to miss out on that. The idea of proposing... She met my family at Thanksgiving, and that weekend, 2 of our close friends got married. Those 2 events helped me make up my mind, so at age 21, I proposed, and she said yes. The conversation with my dad went a little like this. "Hey, Dad, how's it going?" "Well, not good, Kenneth. I spoke with a lawyer today. Your mother and I are getting a divorce." "Oh. I was going to see if you wanted to have dinner or something, but I guess now's just as good a time as any to tell you I'm going to marry Janet." What a way to go into a marriage. Circle of life, I guess, right? One ends as another begins. I wasn't that surprised by it. My parents never got along when I was younger, so my main thought was, it's about time. I was worried how Janet might react to the news and how it would affect our engagement. Her parents divorced when she was 16, so she could empathize. And if anything, our love grew stronger, and we were that much more determined to get married. My dad was pretty opposed to our wedding. On top of his failed marriage, he thought I was too young and wasn't ready. I pointed out he was also 22 when he married my mom, and that didn't go over too well. We set a date. Her mother gave us wedding books for Christmas and couldn't wait to begin making the decisions. But my dad couldn't commit to anything or even talk about it for months. To this day, Janet and I still can't believe the wedding we had. We got married in Magnolia Hotel's Pegasus Ballroom downtown, and despite my mother-in-law's objections, my good friend Handsome John performed the ceremony for us. It seemed so extravagant compared to the 600-square-foot apartment we were living in. I took the reception as my opportunity to dance as much as possible to avoid awkward conversations with distant relatives. She smoothed and got me for the really important ones, like grandparents and rich aunts and uncles. But for the most part, I danced all night. The next day, we ate breakfast with our families and then were driven to the airport to be whisked away to Miami. Her mom and stepdad bought us a cruise and gave us a credit card to use on board. Her grandfather even paid for us to go swimming with dolphins. Honeymoon? Check. The first thing we did on the boat was drink. It was the first time either of us had someone else paying our tab, and we took advantage of it. A friend of mine had advised if you tip in cash, the bartender will pour heavy, and it was incredible. After the safety orientation, we wandered up to the ship's piano bar, and we befriended the Indonesian bartender, Aan. The first night, we became regulars there, which was a good thing, but also a terrible thing. The next day, we explored the port of Nassau and came back to the ship early. We wanted to be sure we could pregame with 2-for-1 mojitos before 2-for-1 martinis at Aan's bar. We went to dinner at the nicest restaurant on the boat, carrying our drinks from the bar with us. We sat down, made our course selections, and ordered a bottle of wine. I'm not sure if it was the lobster bisque, the wine, or the 3 martinis before dinner, but Janet didn't make it to the second course. I'm assuming the staff was used to people throwing up on themselves because they were super nice. They even gave me our dinner and dessert in to-go containers so we can enjoy it later. So I walked her back to the room, made sure she was okay, and put her to bed. The night was still early, so I decided to wander the ship. Just like the previous night, I ended up at Ahan's bar, only this time he was heavier-handed, and I was drinking Maker's Manhattans, not Whiskey Coke. When I started to feel I should go to bed, I ordered one last drink and headed back to the room to enjoy it on my balcony with a cigar and the cool breeze. The next morning, we got up before our wake-up call, probably due to the excitement. We had to get on a smaller boat at 10:15 to go to the lagoon where we would swim with dolphins. In order to do any activities or visit the port, you had to wait in a line to swipe your room card for clearance. We had done it the day before in Nassau, no problem. We knew the drill. But this time, we were stopped. We were on a very tight schedule. We didn't have time to be taken down the hall of the office to wait for the head of security. We had to swim with dolphins, damn it. We waited for almost half an hour when the head of security finally walks into his room and addresses us as Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth. A first for us. He says, "We got reports that you might have been feeding birds from your balcony late last night." I look at him slightly confused. "No, I don't think so." "It was around 2 a.m. "Oh." "Remember that final drink on the balcony with the cigar and the breeze?" "Yeah." So I explained to him that I was actually puking off of our balcony, not feeding the birds, and that I was sorry for any confusion. With a slightly disgusted smirk on his face, he let us go in the nick of time. We sprinted down the gangplank and off the ship. We were the last ones to check in to go to the lagoon. We almost missed the boat. Swimming with dolphins was an amazing experience. We went on a date with our dolphin. First we fed the dolphin, then we danced. Then no date was complete without the goodnight kiss. After all that, though, was the big finish. I was propelled through the water on the nose of 2 dolphins. The wind and the ocean and the feeling of just letting go was absolutely breathtaking. Something that never would have happened had I not been married. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that would have agreed with my dad. Getting married so young, you're going to miss out on a lot of things. I'm sure that's true in some regard. I still don't know what a one-night stand is, and I'll never know what it's like to live completely alone. But since being married, I swam with dolphins, became a member at the Dallas Zoo, and went to Boston 3 years in a row for St. Patrick's Day. And I'm sharing all of my experiences with the love of my life. That's one boat I'm glad I didn't miss.